Do a 5-minute round, then we'll actually go back and do a second if there's interest in that. So, Mr. Glass, I want to start with you. Are you familiar with the? First of all, my state has a really good relationship with Japan, and they're a trading partner. They're an important trading partner. We love them. They love us. But we got one problem: potatoes is somewhat important to Idaho, as you may or may not know. Are you familiar with the ongoing fight we've had with Japan over the years on the potato issue?
I've certainly read about it.
It's all right.
I've certainly read about it in the media, and we've had some discussions on that. Yes.
Yeah. You're going to learn a lot more assuming you're confirmed, which I'm sure will happen. But that is something that's absolutely critical to us, and it's a kind of thing that causes countries to get riled up when there's really no reason for it other than pure unadulterated protectionism. Everybody talks about free trade, but then you wind up with rules and regs that dress up like health issues or something like that, and all they are is protectionism. So we'll talk some more about that in private. Any other thoughts you have on that?
I certainly do. In fact, thank you very much for the question, because I have quite a bit of experience working with the Department of Agriculture on non-tariff trade barriers. We were dealing with that in Portugal actually with soybeans, and it had to do with a very nuanced regulatory issue up at the EU. And as we looked into it, it ended up something that we could change, and we did. And we went from virtually having no agricultural trade in Portugal between the Portuguese and the United States to hundreds of millions of dollars of soybeans. And most of these just take some determination. It tends to, when you were dealing with great bureaucracies of other governments, especially with something like the EU, you have to have a bit of patience. But I'm very determined to take care of being a believer in free, fair, and reciprocal trade, which is effectively the agenda of the Trump administration. I will work hard on that, and I take that very seriously. My mom's family are ranchers and farmers in Pendleton, which is right near the great state of Idaho. I was born and raised, and we raised our kids in Oregon, so we're very familiar with working with agriculture to make that happen. So I will work directly with your office if confirmed, and we'll see what we can do on that.
Thank you much. Probably been to the Pendleton Roundup.
Many times.
Where the Idaho Cowboys compete with the Oregon Cowboys.
Yep.
All right, thank you. Mr. Johnson, give us some hope here. I think most Americans are not fully dialed in with the dire situation in Mexico with violence and drugs. Their elections last year, there were hundreds, I forgot the exact number, but it's in the hundreds of candidates who were assassinated simply because they were running for public office. This is a tragedy, and it's a code of conduct and a method of doing business that just isn't acceptable for civilized people. Mexico has such tremendous potential in front of it with the people they have, the culture they have, the resources they have, but they got problems with drugs and crime. Give us some hope here. What are your thoughts on this? What do we have to do to help them move forward? Because we can't do it. As always, it's going to be up to the society themselves to do it. Give us some hope here.
Thank you for that question, Senator. I couldn't agree with you more, but I have to say I feel extremely positive about the communication that has occurred between President Sheinbaum and President Trump and the actions that we've seen Mexico recently take. 2 weeks ago today, we had a senior Mexican delegation here in Washington, D.C., and they met with Secretary Rubio. I believe the Secretary of Defense was there, and the Attorney General was also there. And as a result of that meeting, we saw the extradition of 29 criminals that were engaged in some of the activities that are harming Americans. And I believe we've seen additional arrests made based on information that was obtained from them already, and I think we'll see more. The other thing that occurred back in Mexico is we've seen a tightening of security against the cartels that has been done by the Mexican authorities. I'm hearing rumors that some cartel members are reluctant to leave their compound now, and that's very good news. I think, and you touched on this, I think our economies are entwined in such a way that what is good to make America stronger, safer, and more prosperous also holds true for Mexico. And I'm encouraged by some of the comments that I've seen out of the Sheinbaum government recently, comments she's made herself on prioritizing the relationship with the United States over that of China. I think Latin America is beginning to wake up to the fact that China does not have their interest in mind, and that creates opportunities for us.
Thank you, Mr. Johns. Appreciate those thoughts. They've got a long ways to go, and we want to help every way we can. Mr. Hoekstra, are you familiar with the negotiations that are going on over the Columbia River Treaty?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
Yes, I am.
I've been involved in that on a bipartisan basis, and that's an important issue. My time's up, so we'll talk about it either on the second round or we'll talk about it privately, but it's something that we need to get that redone. It's in the process. It's moving along at a snail's pace, but I think we can get there. With that, Senator Shaheen.